Hi everyone, here in this lecture we are going to talk about the abnormalities of placentine cord, and in this part we are going to discuss about the morphological variations, that is alteration in size and shape of the placenta. So before you watch this video, I will suggest you to go and watch my previous video of the structure of placenta. So you may be able to compare the normal structure and the abnormal varieties. So out of many varieties, one of the varieties is the placenta secenturata. Placenta secenturata. So what it is? So before that we will draw a figure. Here it is the placenta, and in placenta secenturata there is an extra lobe or the cotyledon which is lying slightly away from this main portion of the placenta. So what is happening here? There is the insertion of umbilical cord, and from this umbilical cord the umbilical vessels are radiating on this fetal surface, and from these fetal surfaces some of the vessels is extending up to this lobe or the cotyledon. So here are the vessels, and some of the vessels are connecting this main portion with this extra lobe, and the fetal membrane is covering the both structure together here like this. So what is placenta secenturata? There is a formation of extra lobe or maybe one or two lobe or the cotyledons, that is called the accessory lobe or the secenturate lobe, which is lying away from this main portion of the placenta. So how it is forming? What is happening? In normal condition there is a decidua basalis, and on this decidua basalis there is the villus formation, and these villi are forming there is called the chorion frondosum. If you remember, there is a decidua capsularis area, and on that area the villus is also forming, but as the fetus or the embryo grows, as the embryo and fetus grows, what is happening? These villi become atrophied and they form chorionic leaf and the chorion. So on that portion, that is the villus formation around this decidua capsularis, they become atrophied in normal condition. But what is happening here in this secenturata? The villi which are forming in capsular region is functional there. So some of the villi which are functional on the decidua capsularis forms this accessory lobe or the cotyledon here. So as this structure, that is this lobe, is lying away from this main portion, this is connected by some vessels over here, and the vessels which is connecting this portion to this main portion is radiating from these fetal surface only. So here you can say that there is an extra lobe or cotyledon which is lying away from this main portion, but it is connected by some vessels and it is covered by the same fetal membrane which covered this main portion of placenta is called the placenta secenturata. In some of the condition, the interconnecting vessels is absent. In some of the condition, what is happening? The interconnecting vessels in between this main portion and the lobe is absent, and if this type of condition appears, then it is called the placenta spuria. And in secenturata, what is happening? The intervening or the interconnecting vessels are present. And how this lobe is forming? It is formed by the functional villi which is present on the chorion leaf. Now the another variety of this placental abnormality is placenta extracoriolis. Extracoriolis, as this name suggests, extra means there is extra villi which are not covering. So in this again there are the two varieties. placenta circumvallate or the placenta circummarginate. The another name is the placenta marginata. If you remember, in a normal placenta there are the two plates. One facing toward the fetus is the chorionic plate, and the plate which faces toward the maternal uterine wall is the basal plate. So in a normal placenta, what is happening? These both plates are equal, and the fetal membranes which are inserting is from the peripheral, or you can say the edge of this placental margin. But what is happening in the circumvallate or the circummarginate placenta, or you can say in the extracoriolis placenta, this chorionic plate becomes smaller in comparison with this basal plate. So here you can see this is the chorionic plate which is smaller, and there is the basal plate which is more larger. So this is happening in this extracoriolis. So in that condition, what is happening? In placenta marginata, the fetal membranes are inserting from this central portion or near the central portion. So this chorionic plate become bulges over here, and they form a thin fibrous ring over here. This forms the thin fibrous ring over here. So the villi which are lining this side, so the villi which are lining these side is not covered by this chorionic plate. So this is why this is called as extracoriolis, because this villi which are lying these side, they are not covered by this chorionic plate. So what is happening? A thin fibrous ring is forming near the center in this placenta marginata, and the membranes arises not at the margin, but these are inserting near the center. So the vessels, that is the umbilical vessels, usually terminates at the end of the placental margin, but these are terminating just near the center only. They are terminating till end, but what is happening? They are not visible. They are just visible till this fibrous ring only. And what is happening in this placenta circumvallate? The amnion and chorion fetal membrane becomes double folded here. They become double folded here. That is, they are rolled back over the chorionic plate. They become rolled back. So as they become rolled back, what will happen? They form thick fibrous ring over the chorionic plate. So what is happening in the placenta circumvallate? The amnion and chorion, that is the fetal membrane, become rolled back. So they are folding and they forms the double layer over one another. So this is why they are forming a thick fibrous ring around this central part of the chorionic plate. And in this also the vessels which are inserting through these umbilical cord, they radiate and they do not go till the end, whereas they are ending near the ring part only. So what is happening in placenta extracoriolis? That is, these are the extra chorions or the extra villi which are not covered by this chorionic plate, because they are only covered by this basal plate only. So this is how these, that is the circumvallate and the circummarginate placenta, are called the extrachorion. Now the another variety of this placenta is the placenta membranacea. So what it means, as this name itself suggests, membranacea, it means it is more thin in comparison to the normal structure. So it becomes thin. Why it is thin? Normally villi are forming at the decidua basalis side and they form discoid shape of placenta. But in that condition, what is happening? Normally the capsularis part forms the chorionic leaf, because the villi which are forming toward the capsularis region become atrophied as the embryo or the fetus grow more and more. But in that condition, what is happening? The villi which are forming around the capsularis region become active, and as they become active, what is happening? The villus is forming from the superior lateral until the inferior region of the whole of the uterus. So in that condition, the placenta become more thin or large. So if a woman is having this type of variety in placenta, what will be happen? The separation will be more tough because the placenta is too large. So in that condition, retained bits of cotyledon may be there, and that may lead to the postpartum hemorrhage in the women's. So we have seen the placenta secenturata, that is the formation of extra lobe over here. And if the woman is having this type of condition, in that condition also this part may be retained inside at the time of childbirth, and that may cause the PPH again. And if a woman is having this type of placenta, that is the placenta extracoriolis, in which the chorionic plate is smaller in comparison to this basal plate, so what will happen? That may lead in abortion or maybe antepartum hemorrhage, or may cause the growth retardation in the fetus if the woman is having this type of placenta, because chorionic plate is smaller. One more variety is there, that is the placenta bipartite, or you can say the placenta bilobed, in which what is happening? There is two equal size of placenta is formed, and this equal size placenta is connected by the single umbilical cord. They are connecting by the single umbilical cord, and the radiating vessels become share with these two parts, and the membrane also encloses both the lobes together. So the fetal membrane which is forming also encloses both the structure together. So here the lobe which is forming here is of equal size, and in this condition, that is the placenta secenturata, what is happening? The lobe is forming, but this is of unequal size, because this is the main portion and that is the one or two lobes, that is called the cotyledons, which are attaching with this structure, that is of unequal size. But here bipartite or bilobed, in that condition what is happening? Placenta is divided itself into the two lobes, that is the equal size, and the umbilical cord is sharing their vessels with these both the structures, and the membrane become enclose the structure together. So this variety is rare one, and along with this bipartite there is tripartite or trilobed or multilobed varieties are also there, but these all are the rare one. So we have seen the placental abnormalities, that is the placenta secenturata, in which the accessory or the extra lobe, or you can say the secenturate lobe, is forming from the chorionic leaf part, and this is connected by some vessels which is radiating, which all are radiating from these fetal surfaces. So this is called the placenta secenturata. And in placenta extracoriolis, that is this coriolis, that is this chorion part, that is this villi part is not covered by this chorionic plate, because this plate is smaller in comparison to this large basal plate. So this is how this is called the extracoriolis, in which we have seen the circumvallate placenta and we have seen the marginata. In marginata, the membranes are smoothly running, but these all are inserting from the central part, and in circumvallate the membrane become rolled back and they form the double layer over the one another. And the third one is the placenta membranaceae, because in this condition the villi which are lying over the coronic leaf is also active. So this forms the large or thin placenta. So we have seen the varieties of the placenta over here in this part, and in next part we will be seeing the cord abnormalities. Thank you.